Hey everybody, it's 13th Wolfman. You know what today is? Today is day 23 of 31 Days of Horror. That's right. So today, what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about a movie that's been remade a ton of times. In fact, it's not just been remade, but it's also influenced other movies to be made. So we're going to jump back to the 50s. Boom, back in the Wayback Machine. And in 1956, a movie came out that was directed by Don Siegel that starred Kevin McCarthy, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Invasion of the Body Snatchers was about these pod people that came down to Earth to take over, and basically they took away Earth's humanity. You know, they would clone you as perfect as they can, but they were emotionless nothings. You know? Kevin McCarthy plays a character that understands what's going on, is trying to expose it, but everybody is becoming infected, you know. And what it is, they would grow out of these pods, these giant, what look like giant pea pods. You know, they'd put a pod, they'd wait till someone went to sleep, they'd put a pod next to them, and then that pod would kind of like, you know, pick up on what the person looks like and clone them, and then they'd get rid of the original. That's 1956. 1978, they remake this movie with Donald Sutherland and Leonard Nimoy, and they call it Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah, okay. Don Siegel actually makes a cameo in this. He's the guy he's the dog with the human face in that movie. And Kevin McCarthy makes a cameo in this. He's the guy running across the street, yelling, "They're here! They're coming!" You know, all that. When someone's getting out of a cab. So, boom. 1978, they remake the movie. It's awesome, and they keep the same kind of vibe going along. You know, it's like when you sleep, they change you. You become, emotionless automatons, basically. In the early 90s, they made a movie called Body Snatchers, The Invasion Continues, which was a sequel to the 1978 movie. A lot of people think it's just a remake, but it's actually, from what I understand, it's a sequel. Then they made Puppet Masters with Donald Sutherland again, but this is a different movie. It's just a movie based on the novel that the original film was based on. Yeah. Again, it's honestly the same thing. You could find it. Mill Creek put out a copy of it about a year or two ago. I know you can get that from them. The Faculty comes out in the late 90s, like 98, and you could tell that this movie is inspired by Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They even mentioned Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the Puppet Masters in the movie. So this wasn't really a remake, it was influenced by. So I'm good with that. Now you jump to the 2000s, and what do you got? You've got Invasion, which is the movie we're going to talk about right now, with Nicole Kidman, Daniel Craig, and that's and Jeffrey Wright. In this movie, Nicole Kidman plays a psychiatrist who is noticing that things are becoming a little bit wonky when it comes to her patients. One of her patients, played by Veronica Cartwright, she's usually beaten by her husband, but she's now saying her husband's not her husband, and she goes on the internet and looks about, and so she's seeing that people are saying, my daughter's not my daughter, my wife's not my wife, my son's not my son, and that things are becoming a little bit more wonky. Like I said. And her best friend is Daniel Craig. She's a psychiatrist. He's he's a doctor, but he's more of a lab rat, basically, than anything. He's more of a scientist doctor rather than a medical doctor. His science does involve medicine, but again, he's more of the behind the scenes rather than I'm going to cut you open and take out your spleen type doctor is what I'm getting at. which is cool. And Jeffrey Wright is also another lab rat. I mean, he's best friends with Daniel Craig, and I thought it was funny when I was watching this that I'm like, just a second, Jeffrey Wright's the guy that played Felix Leiter in Casino Royale, and Daniel Craig is the guy that played James Bond in Casino Royale. So they actually have somewhat of a history of making movies together. I thought that was kind of cool. Along the way, we find out that there is a medical reason why some people aren't turning and some people are. I don't want to get too much into it. I like this movie. This is actually one of the... I don't think there's a bad... I was going to say this is one of the better remakes, but I don't think there's a bad remake or sequel or offshoot whatsoever. I mean, depending on what you're in the mood for, I think everything that has ever been put out with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, whether it be Invasion, The Faculty, Puppet Masters, Body Snatchers, The Invasion Continues, Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake, and the original, I think they're all very well made and all very well done and acted. I mean, in every one of them, you get something new and you get something that brings something new to the table for you to watch. So yeah, that's it for this day. Always like, subscribe, share, and comment. I always want to know what you have to say. And yeah, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and I'm on the prowl.